In this video, I'll walk you through features available in NGO Manager Home. To reach NGO Manager Home, user needs to reach user home first through this link. And at user home, link to NGO Manager Home is visible in header in case user is NGO Manager for particular NGO. NGO Manager Home has three LHS sections, namely Organizational Hierarchy, Manage Volunteers, and Manage Addresses. Let's discuss them one by one. The first section, named Organizational Hierarchy, shows two major things. Number one, it lists all NGOs for which the user is NGO Manager. And number two, for each of these NGOs, it lists all the current and ex-project leaders. Let's open user profile of project leader Divyansu Singh LFL from this list. I will use that to illustrate next LHS section. Here you can see that this user is project leader for this particular NGO, and here the same information is listed. Next section is Manage Volunteers. It has three subsections. Let's visit them one by one. First subsection is Search User. This subsection is basically used to search user to know his current leadership roles in other NGOs through his profile page. Let's try searching one user. So by visiting this user profile, NGO Manager can see leadership roles of that user in other NGOs. User can be searched either by email ID or by Live for Life specific user ID, which can be shared by someone from URL parameter named ID of profile page URL. Search by user ID is useful when user has logged in using Facebook, as in that case no email ID will be available to search with. Let's try searching with this user ID. So the search result is same because user is same. Next subsection is Change User's Role. In a generic scenario, a user can be NGO Manager in several NGOs. So user first needs to select NGO for which he wants to make the role change for another user. NGO Manager can change role of another user from general user to project leader of the NGO, or project leader to ex-project leader of the NGO, or ex-project leader to project leader. Role change can also be done using either email ID or user ID. Let's change role of Divyansu at the rate of liveforlives.com. From project leader to ex-project leader. Ex-project leader doesn't have access to project leader home. Let's go ahead with this. Let's see the impact on the impacted user's profile page. Currently he is project leader over here. Now if you refresh this page, so he is listed in ex-project leader for this NGO. Now let's change back his role to project leader using user ID. Again, user ID is helpful when user has logged in using Facebook. So if we refresh this page again, so we can see that he is project leader again. Bare input conditions have been taken care of. For example, if user is currently a project leader and he is again made project leader, it won't make sense, so it won't be allowed. Another example is a user can't change his role himself. Current user is devyanshu26@gmail.com. So let's try changing role of this user. So it prohibits that. Next subsection is see user's logbook. NGO Manager can see logs of a user corresponding to his NGO using this subsection. Here also NGO needs to be selected first and search can be made using either email ID or user ID. Let's search logs of devyanshu@liveforlives.com for crime. Logs displayed here can be in any status. Also, minimal details are displayed upfront. Upon clicking anywhere on a row, it expands to show complete information. Clicking again on row collapses it again to show minimal information. This logbook display is also paginated to help in navigation, and logs are in reverse chronological order of logging time. This completes all three sections of Manage Volunteers section. Next section is Manage Addresses. As you can see in this list, an NGO can have 4 types of addresses. Let's discuss them one by one. Head office address is registered during NGO onboarding and can only be modified later using this. Branches and packs addresses can be created, edited, and deleted anytime unless a project is ever created to run at it, in which case deletion is prohibited. To avoid inconsistency. PAG is basically Geographic Public Action Group, which is a specific location of an NGO in a particular community. Last type of address is preferred venues. So there are venues shared across all NGOs, but an NGO manager has to select venues which are preferred venues for his NGO. Let's try deleting one of these preferred venues. So this won't delete the venue itself, it will delete the preference that NGO has for this venue. So this is just a confirmation before deletion. So address deleted successfully. Now let's add back that address. Main purpose of preferred venue is that they are venues shared by all NGOs. So practically multiple NGOs can work together at same venue in a collaborative project. Whereas in other types of addresses which are specific to an NGO, only that NGO will be working on them. Let's now try to create a new address. So you can see that new office address got added over here. And I can modify this further. And delete it also. This is just a confirmation before delete. So that address got deleted. This completes entire NGO Manager Home.